Hi, this is your host Swapnil Bhartiya and welcome to TFR Let's Talk. And today we have two guests, Dipti Borkar, co-founder and chief product officer at Ahana, and Roy Hasson, principal product manager at AWS. Roy, Dipti, it's great to have you both on the show.
Thanks for having us.
Always a pleasure, Swap.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, today we are going to talk about, of course, Lake Formation and Ahana Cloud for Presto. But before we do go there, Roy or Deepti, can you just quickly explain to our viewers what is AWS Lake Formation all about? How does it help users?
So, AWS Lake Formation is a service that is trying to solve three kind of main problems. The first one is helping customers build and manage their data lakes quickly. So instead of spending months and months and months building and managing data lakes, we want to be able to make it faster and easier for our customers. The second thing that Lake Formation attempts to address is the ability to simplify managing fine-grained access security on top of your data in your data lake. So as data becomes more available to more users, they want to be able to access it in different ways. So how do you secure it using fine-grained controls, column level, row level, cell level security? And then the third component of Lake Formation is the ability to actually take that data inside of your data lake and share it between AWS accounts. So say you build a data lake inside of one line of business and you want to share these data sets with other lines of business. Lake Formation makes it really easy for you to share that data in a secure way.
Excellent. Thanks for explaining that. Deepti, now let's quickly talk about Ahana Cloud for Presto. Of course, we have talked about it so much here at TFR, but it's good to have a refresher all the time.
Absolutely. Ahana is a managed service for Presto. Presto was created at Facebook, now Meta. It is a data lake engine and it is a de facto engine for interactive queries on data lakes. And that makes this integration of Ahana and Lake Formation really a very good fit. The vision that I had for Ahana was to simplify SQL on S3 data lakes as well as other clouds. But S3 is and AWS is where Ahana runs. That's what it's built for. And we'll talk more about the integration itself.
And yeah, let's jump into the integration as Roy was talking about, looking at and solving three problems. Where does, Ahana Cloud for Presto fit into the picture? And through this integration, what part of the problem you're trying to solve for users?
Ahana runs on top. So Ahana Presto runs on top of data lakes. It makes bringing insights out of S3 data lakes very, very easy. However, users still first need to build their data lakes. And that's where lake formation comes in. As more and more data lakes get built out, the governance and the security of these open data lakes in particular, with open formats, open source, becomes really very important. And lake formation, we believe, is going to be the foundational service on top of S3, which will be used by pretty much every mid-market enterprise customer to build out their data lakes and do more with it and get insights from it. On top of lake formation, you then have the SQL engine that runs, which is the Ahana Presto.
Yeah, no, I think that's right on. And just to kind of add to that, when Lake Formation launched and provided ability to define fine-grained access controls and data in S3, we started by supporting AWS native services like Amazon Athena, Amazon Redshift, Amazon EMR. But our customers have always told us that they want to be able to use their choice of tool, Ahana and other third-party systems to be able to access the data in the same way, not in a secure way. And that's really what this is about. So the ability for Lake Formation to expose a new set of APIs that allow engines like Ahana to be able to take advantage of Lake Formation security and enable their customers to actually still query the data in S3 through those engines using fine-grained access controls managing Lake Formation.
Dipti, if I ask, of course, a lot of Ahana or Presto users were already leveraging AWS. How does that announcement, makes their life easier and better? Talk about, the improvement that are there.
Absolutely. Data lakes will be the de facto standard analytics on data lakes over the next 10 years. I mean, we've all been talking about this. However, when it comes to customers, they want a simplicity for their access control, right? Their fine-grained access control. What does this mean? Does Roy have access to the customer table? Does Dipti have access to the users table? This is defined in Lake Formation, and Ahana Presto now exposes this very, very easily and allows customers to add this level of security at the cell level, at the row level, which is really deep integration into this level of security. And so this was not possible before. Customers like Metropolis and others are now starting to use Lake Formation. They now have the ability to really go very fine grained on their security and their permissions, and allow only the users that truly have access to the data have access to it.
Yeah, and just to add to that, right, from a simplicity perspective, right, what customers have been asking us is for a single place to manage all your permissions for data in your data lake in S3, right? So using Lake Formation, you have that single place that you can go and you define your permissions in that single place, and then be able to access the data through Ahana, through Amazon Athena, EMR, et cetera, without really having to worry about, does my user have the right permission to the data? Do I need to go to this other system and map new or configure new permissions? I don't have to really worry about it. I have a single place that I constantly manage those permissions, and those permissions apply regardless of the tool that my users want to use to access that data. So that's a really powerful sort of enablement for our customers to be able to actually take their data lakes and actually start scaling it and to get more use of it. Where in the past, when we talked to customers, they said, hey, we built data lakes, but nobody's really using them, right? They're all still using their choice of tool. They're copying data. It's a real problem. We want access to more tools, and having security inside a lake formation in a single place really enables these customers to start doing more with their data.
Dipti, since you mentioned, that future, more and more things will build on top of data lakes. We have been seeing, we talk about data warehouses and then we talk about data lakes. Both have advantages, but moving massive amount of data, as you, Roy, mentioned, can be a big challenge. So what kind of trend are you seeing? Where are people moving? Because, data is the new oil, if I'm not wrong. And then data itself has no value. The value is the analytics, AI that you pull from that. And that is where you have to do all the work. And so if you keep moving it back and forth, that is not going to work. So please tell me what trends you see towards data lakes.
Absolutely. Happy to go first. I see that data warehouses and data lakes are coexisting for a long period of time. Over time, just as we see, there will be new stacks that emerge. Data lake is a new modern stack where you can really do more with your data over time. With a data in a single location, which is S3, our recording right here is going into S3. There's metadata that's collected on top of it that can be analyzed. And so there is a lot of information that is already landing in S3. Now that it's there, we can have many different types of processing on top of it. One kind of processing is SQL, and that's where Ahana fits in. There is machine learning and AI and TensorFlow and PyTorch, many other systems, Spark for transformation, and many other approaches that all work on a single storage system. And that is the power of data lakes. They're open. They cross these open formats of Parquet, ORC, and others can be used across many different types of processing. And at the end of the day, the customer, the enterprise that's data driven, gets the most value of this information over time by having many different processings on top of it. Now, that said, there is an element of ease of use and speed, because we've had big data 101, if you will, or 1.0 with Hadoop, where there was a lot of tech, but it took a long time to see the value of it. With this next generation of Ahana and managed services, that makes it easy. The operational overhead is offloaded to the managed service, and SQL engines like Ahana then bring that value out of these data lakes for different workloads. It might be SQL, it might be machine learning, and others. And I see this as the next 10 years of data. It will coexist with data warehouses over time. More and more analytics will be on open data lakes.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I mean, I think you hit all the points. I think ultimately it comes down to breaking down sort of the data silos and bringing the data into a place that is highly scalable, durable, available, and is well integrated with pretty much everything, right? So like if you talk about object store like Amazon S3, like there's very few things or tools, services out there that don't already know how to talk to S3. And then whether you use Ahana on top of that, or you use a data warehouse like Redshift, on top of that data, it's really your choice, right? It's up to your use case and what you want to do. Locking the data into one particular data store because it's a little bit easier or because you may, be a little cheaper, it makes sense in some scenarios, but as you start scaling, as your users come back and say, hey, I want to do more with my data. I don't want to wait for this tool to give me the next feature that I need and it's going to come in a year. I want to go pick up this open source thing over there and I want to go play with it. Data lakes give you that flexibility and that agility. We're putting the data into a single system. It may look like that system is flexible and accessible, and that may be okay. But I think it also limits your ability to move quickly and do more with the data. So I really see the future of data lakes, over the next several years, just becoming more and more core to every business. And whether we build some of these new features on top of the data lake, like asset transactions and updates and deletes and time travel, these are things we're all used to and we love in databases. But now we're starting to build those things on top of a data lake in a much more scalable and distributed manner. So I think over time you're going to see more and more customers and systems just moving to using a data lake as the de facto storage and data management system.
Since you're talking about the trend going in future, but we're also talking about a lot about crypto also, ImmuDB kind of databases also there where, you do want to ensure that all the transactions are being tracked. Do you also see, like, if you look at, our we used to say, hey, encryption is only for businesses, but now everything is end-to-end encrypted, whether it's messaging. So what kind of trend do you see in the database space when it comes to, hey, it's tamper-proof, Do you see anything there, Dipti or Roy, or is the out of context right now?
Yeah, I'd say that the OLTP and the analytical OLAP systems are very different. Right, and that's where you have polyglot persistence, or you have the right database for the right purpose, the right job. OLTP systems, operational systems, whether they need transactions or not, high throughput, massive high throughput, microsecond latency systems will always exist. But then you have to move that data into one place and look at the analytics on it and analyze how to leverage that information and do something with it. The product manager can create new products. The marketer can create new campaigns. The salesperson can understand what territories and customers to track. And that's what analytics is about. It is about the business and making the most of creating new businesses or expanding existing businesses. And that is where data lakes fit in. I think the innovation on the OLTP operational side will continue to grow. That's where the crypto, Bitcoin, all of these things come in, right? And there will always be databases on the microsecond, latency level, but that's a different game from the 5-10-way joins across many different tables, star schemas, snowflake schemas, which is what analytics is about, getting deep information, deep insights of data on a historical basis or a correlated basis.
Yeah, so just to add to that, and I'll take it to a slightly different direction. So everything Dipti said is right on, right, with the databases and OLTP and OLAP. A pattern I'm kind of starting to see more and more is traditionally analytics was sort of done, I would say, like out of band of the transactional systems. I'm going to look at the data. Maybe it's real-time data coming in or batch data coming in. Doesn't really matter. I'm kind of looking at it. I'm making decision kind of like after the fact. And what we're starting to see now is that transitioning. So analytics transitioning towards being in line with the business, right? So in a transactional system, I go click a button, I purchase something. The transactional system handles that, store that data and moves that forward. Analytics gets slotted into that path as well, right? So I purchased that piece of product. The next step is data gets stored, and then it triggers some ML algorithm or some other system that goes and figures out what's the best way to get that package to me. Should I be shipping it from this warehouse over here or this warehouse over there? So both analytics and machine learning are starting to become less about reporting and analysis and more about quickly analyzing the situation and providing the right answer or the right direction to take the next step in that pipeline. So I'm definitely seeing more and more of that. And that's what you're starting to see databases like Apache Pinot that's taking that data and really giving you that fast response, because you want your business systems to be driving decisions based on that data very quickly.
Absolutely. And Presto allows for that federation across Pinot and data lakes and give you that insight across many different systems.
Perfect. Thanks for taking that question and addressing that. Now let's scale back to our initial discussion, which was about Presto Cloud. Can you share some of the exciting use cases that you have seen for which further validates this integration?
Absolutely. So we have Ahana customer Metropolis is a joint customer of AWS as well as Ahana, is an early user of Lake Formation, and is they're in the mobility space. They have the ability to enable parking and many different mobility services across many cities and metropolises, right? Just like the name says. And with this integration of Ahana and Lake Formation, now they can enable fine-grained access control, as we've talked about, at a much granular level that gives them the peace of mind, the data platform team, the peace of mind that only the right people, the right agencies, the right companies have access to the data that they have access to. And as they grow across many more cities, they will have the ability to have this fine-grained access control and peace of mind.
Excellent. Now, of course, you folks cannot, reveal a lot of stuff. You cannot, talk about a lot of things which is still in the pipeline. But if I ask, what are the things that you folks are working on? What to expect next?
Yeah. So at reInvent, actually, a couple of weeks ago almost, we announced the release of row and cell level security, which is further advancing the security of Lake Formation. The other thing that we announced is something that we call govern tables. So again, this is back to one of the core problems that Lake Formation tries to solve with making data easier to manage in S3. Is this govern table give you the option to ingest data into the data lake using asset transactions. We also have automatic small file compaction that manages the data behind the scenes and optimizes it for better performance. So these are some of the big things that we announced at reInvent. And of course, we're going to keep working throughout 2022 to enhance those capabilities, add more features for our customers that make data ingestion and data management easier, but also enhances the security posture of your data lake and makes defining and auditing and managing your data security easier for our customers.
Absolutely, and we've integrated with these APIs for cell level and row level integration that gives that fine level access control to our users. As AWS builds on more, we will go deeper and deeper and build out those deeper integrations. At PrestoCon last week, we announced this this integration, and now it's available for our customers to come in and try it out. And so I would, call to action is give it a try. If you are in the process of building a lakehouse, build it right, build it with governance and security built in. And now this is available with Lake Formation and with SQL Analytics on the top. That's easy to use with Ahana. It really is, very, very simple. It can be integrated in 15 minutes. This would take months and months of effort to get set up. In the past, as we know, with databases, now with this ease of use, as data platform teams, you can be a 2, 3, 4-person team and still get the best value and the key features like security built in.
Roy, Dipti, thank you so much for taking time out today and talk about, of course, Cloud Formation, Ahana, and all the trends that you folks are seeing. And I would love to have you back on the show. Thank you.
Great. Thanks so much, Swap. Thanks, Roy.
Thank you. Thank you for.
Thanks again.